This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
And now, the W with Walls and the crew.
Good morning.
Where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM.
Good morning.
And Facebook Live.
Good morning, good morning. Right back like we never left. Another Saturday morning with the W Show, Kansas City, talking sports and pop culture. You're listening to the W Show on 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, watching us live on one of our social media pages. If this is your first time checking us out, thank you for making us a part of your day. My name is Steve Walls, and as always, I'm joined by the other hosts of the show, DJ Q, Jazz, and O. Good morning. How is everyone?
Good.
Doing great.
Good.
Q, you all right over there?
Hey, just taking it one day at a time, hitting those curves. Skirt, skirt.
I'm feeling it this morning as well, man. Got the chance to check out some soccer yesterday.
Football.
Yeah, football. Yeah, that's what it is. Sporting Kansas City took on Orlando FC. I thought they were going to get a win, but didn't happen that way.
Mm-hmm.
Tie game. Played 90 minutes for a tie. How unfortunate is that?
So in regular season, do they not have the golden goal, no extra, 15, like just straight up?
Just straight soccer, just straight.
They do like stoppage time, which is extra time at the end, but there's
like 2 or 3 minutes, yeah.
Right. There's no OT.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it just depends on how long they have during like when a flop occurs, which happens on the regular in soccer. Yeah, they give you extra time at the end of the half and at the end of the game as well. So if you don't win, you lose.
Pretty much.
Winning isn't everything; it's the only thing. That's what we go by.
Exactly.
The NFL draft is 6 days away, and the NFL has also announced that the 2021 NFL schedule will be released on May 12th. I'm sorry, which is 18 days away. I'm excited about that. I'm wanting to find out exactly how the schedule shakes out, for all the teams, but especially the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, we know one thing: they won't be drafting or needing to draft.
Exactly. And I know you're happy, Noel, about the NBA playoffs. They're about 24 days away.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited. Can't wait to see how that's going to shake out. Really excited, honestly.
We have a lot to talk about today. Coming up on today's show, the Kansas City Chiefs get Ravens star offensive tackle Orlando Brown in exchange for draft picks. That one has me scratching my head. And Q hates to talk when we talk Alex Smith or when I talk Alex Smith, but we'll talk Alex Smith in today's headlines because he's announced he's retiring from football. And I know I'm not the only one who heard that Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes has ownership in the Kansas City Royals. But earlier this week, this is another thing that has me scratching my head. Star catcher Salvador Perez wore a Tampa Bay Buccaneers Tom Brady jersey to batting practice. How does that exactly work? Like when your boss just lost to Tom Brady in the Super Bowl? We'll definitely get to that in about 15 minutes. And coming up in about 30 minutes, we'll have our sneakers of the week during our Hater Love It segment. Let's get to today's headlines.
And now, here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on the W with Walls and the crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Seems like we have a lot of Chiefs tea this week. But we'll start off with the Kansas City Chiefs to get Ravens star offensive tackle Orlando Brown in exchange for draft picks. The Chiefs plugged the biggest hole on their AFC champion roster Friday when they acquired two-time Pro Bowl offensive tackle Orlando Brown from the Ravens for a package of draft picks, including the number 31 overall selection this year. Both teams announced the trade, which will not become complete until Brown passes a physical. We'll start off with you, Steve.
Bravo to the Chiefs. Brett Veach yet again pulled the rabbit out of the hat. And if I'm Baltimore, and I said this on Twitter yesterday, no matter how upset Orlando Brown is with my organization, I am not trading him to the Kansas City Chiefs, especially not for draft picks. Are you in rebuild mode, Baltimore, or what? Because draft picks, really, that just can't happen. The Baltimore Ravens just made their road to the Super Bowl that much harder. And I mean, you mean to tell me that you're going to give the team that you will have to beat to get to a Super Bowl a missing piece to their puzzle? That's just, like I said earlier, a complete head scratcher. Now, the Chiefs with this deal, of course, Orlando Brown was basically a disgruntled employee in Baltimore, upset with the organization. And now what I've heard is that the reason he wanted to get traded is because he originally played right tackle. He was moved to left tackle last season, and he was placed in there because of the injury to Ronnie Stanley, I believe that's his name. But Orlando, of course, made the Pro Bowl as left tackle. Now he doesn't want to go back to right tackle. He wants to be paid as of course, left tackle because they get the most of the money.
Most important
on the
offensive lineman position.
Exactly. So the Chiefs get Brown, and they'll get him on his rookie deal. Now, of course, some folks are like, hey, well, the Chiefs are going to have to pay him when he comes, because that's one of the reasons that he was upset, is because, of course, like I just said, he wants to get paid. However, I believe that the Chiefs front office, Brett Veach and company, they've made the deal with Orlando Brown's agent, his representatives, and said, hey, just come here, play out your deal. And of course, we have our track record. We pay guys. As long as you do what you need to do, you'll get paid. And I believe that that's what they're going to do. Now, Orlando Brown is going to want that top tier money. And even if they pay him this year, I'm not upset at all at that. If they were going to pay Trent Williams. And of course, Trent Williams ended up signing the largest deal for a left tackle, and he stayed with the 49ers. I believe it was 7 years for 138. However, Orlando Brown is only 24 years old. Trent Williams is 33, so the Chiefs definitely won with that. He will be with the Chiefs for at least the next couple years. Even if they don't pay him this year, and then they go franchise him for next year, he'll still be with the team for a couple years. But even if he gets the top tier money, top 10 players as far as left tackles money goes, he'll be somewhere within 4 years, $68 million. I don't think he'll be in the top 3 guys, which, like I said, Trent Williams has the 7 for 138. David Bakatari has 5 for 92, and then Laramie Tunsil has 4 for 66. So he'll be paid somewhere between the $65 to $70 million range, which they got it. The Chiefs, they have it. They were going to pay Trent Williams, so I think they'll be fine.
No, and he sets himself up perfectly. You look at this next season, you're protecting the almost the golden boy of the league, and being able to protect him going into next season, he can definitely demand some money. And the Chiefs really win in all angles, but especially in the youth angle, being able to get a lot more youthful and to fortify that line. The Chiefs can be a scary team, but again, you have to remain injury free, and then you have to have team chemistry, and that's not always the best to get across. So, but the Chiefs are definitely in a better position than they were in the Super Bowl.
Of course, and youth. You mentioned youth. That's the key. And let's not forget they added Joe Tooney, Kyle Long, and also a couple of guys that opted out last season, which is Lucas Niang, who they had said could possibly fill that left tackle role, but I don't think that they were quite sure, which is why they went out and, we're still active in the free agent, or not free agency market, but in the marketplace. And I think Lucas will be a solid backup, or they can, fill him somewhere in the offensive line in a role that way. But you also have Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, who will be back as well. The Doc, he'll be back. So doing this, Noel, it just opens up, the draft. It really does, because now, like you said earlier, it just solidifies that you solidified your offensive line. Now, if there's another player out there that you're like, hey, we can get better with him on the O-line, then so be it. But I think now it opens up what you're able to do, in trading away that number 31 pick. You got an extra 6th round pick. But like Brett Beach said, now with the in the 5th and 6th round this year, there's a little bit of concern there because a lot of those players that would normally go in the 5th and 6th round, they're choosing to go back to school because they have the option to go back. And so now it may be some garbage guys that are in that 5th and 6th round, which, it's going to be kind of, we'll see. The draft is next Thursday.
I mean, Tom Brady's a 6th rounder, so you never know.
Wasn't a Kobe year though.
There's plenty of gems back there in the back of those rounds. But I think the key is, you said, it opens up the draft for the Chiefs. They're allowed to, freely kind of do whatever they want. I mean, there's always, value in a 1st round pick, but, moving back that far and getting exactly what you need. I mean, left tackle, that's the blind side. You gotta have somebody who's a dog on that side of the line. There's no other, because that's where they put their best pass rusher. You have to protect that side. So the Chiefs can go any number of directions. If I was just off the top of my head, I would definitely look for a quality couple linebackers. Definitely on the defensive side of the ball, you can definitely always get better. You can find that, next skill position that might, push you over the top. I mean, we already know that they have options and they have all sorts of guys who are high played, but I mean, nothing like a good slot receiver that can, kind of, a la Cole Beasley, Wes Welker, one of those guys. I mean, that always helped Tom Brady in his, Super Bowl run. So the Chiefs can really do whatever they want at this point. I mean, they covered the position. So Brett Beach must have witnessed some sort of, crime or murder or something, because he's getting away with a whole lot of stuff, man. It's crazy how good he is.
Yeah, in Beach we trust, man. And honestly, they still have those 2 2nd round picks. But if they absolutely wanted to get back into the 1st round, they could. I mean, they could
definitely
those 2 2nd round picks and move back up. And I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. If there's someone up there that are like, hey, he's not going to fall to the 2nd round, then I think they'll make the move. They're being very aggressive, and we've seen it. It's win or go home. They know what the taste feels like of winning Super Bowl. They know what the taste feels like of losing the Super Bowl. And I don't think they want that lost taste anymore.
The window's wide open right now. I mean, the window is just wide open. And I even like the fact that, I mean, he may not stay. It's a possibility he may not stay. Who knows what happens? Anything can happen. But the fact that they were able to jump and get him for this year, I mean, I think it's huge, man. This is a very Patriots type move. If I'm being quite honest, this is very reminiscent of how they do things over in New England.
Definitely,
for sure.
And QB Alex Smith, the reigning NFL Comeback Player of the Year, announced his retirement from football. The longtime quarterback Alex Smith announced his NFL retirement Monday, capping his 16-year journey that started as #1 pick in the NFL draft and ended after his improbable return from a gruesome injury. Q, how do you feel?
I'm just glad he finally has released the shackles off of the NFL. This is. When's the last time that we've ever announced the retirement of such a mediocre player? But no, it's kudos to him, definitely, just for being a quarterback that can last for as long as he did in this league. It just shows how I called him mediocre, but he's just a solid guy. He's a game manager. He's somebody that won't lose you the game. In that realm, you talk about the Ryan Fitzpatricks, you talk about, your Chase Daniels, in that, but Alex Smith definitely was a starter that was able to carry a team that had enough talent around him. Now, would he be able to be a Lamar Jackson type that can carry a whole team on his back? No. But he definitely did a great job with the team coming in before Pat came in. So Patrick, sorry.
Let's hear what Chiefs head coach Andy Reid had to say about Alex.
Yeah, so I mean, you guys know what I feel about him. He's just a heck of a person. Had a great career. played so many years here with different teams, and everywhere he went, he made them better. I texted him a while back. If he gets into coaching, I get first dibs on him. So, which I doubt he will, but it's if he decides to go that route, he would be a guy that you'd love to have on your staff. So, but he's special person, go down as one of my all-time favorites there.
I got a question though, honestly. So he was the #1 overall pick. Would y'all consider him a bust? This is just something that I kind of encountered on Twitter.
A bust?
Would you consider him a bust?
No, I wouldn't
#1
consider him a
overall
bust.
pick.
#1 overall pick. There's been bigger busts. Like there's been Ryan Leafs. There have been Johnny Manziel's. There have been
#1 overall though. We talk #1.
Yeah,
he was that bust. He was.
Yeah, Jamarcus Russell is definitely in that bust category. But I wouldn't say Alex Smith is a bust. Mostly because of just him being a game manager. He wasn't going to wow you with his arm. He wasn't going to wow you with his speed, but he was able to run for a first down or two. He was elusive. He was just a guy that played the position smart, even though he wasn't supremely talented athletically.
As much as people don't want to admit it, Alex Smith did put the winning culture back into Kansas City.
I will agree with that.
People don't want to admit that, but he really did. I mean, he got the Chiefs, of course, offside. If it wasn't for D Ford, the Chiefs were going to the Super Bowl that year. With Alex Smith, I would agree, Q. He is a game manager, but you got to remember he didn't have the weapons that Patrick Mahomes had. If you think about it, Patrick had, of course, Travis. Alex had Travis. He has a Tyreek Hill who he's just kind of scratching the surface of his prime. He also had, McCole. He has a plethora of guys, and Alex had Dwayne Bowe at one time, Albert Wilson. So when you look at those caliber of guys, I don't want to say it. I don't want to put it all on Alex because Andy did. He didn't put Alex in the situations to where he would take risks. And I know he plays to what Alex is comfortable with, but sometimes you got to put your quarterback in those kind of situations. They get big money, you have to do that.
And for a coach like Andy Reid, having an Alex Smith really kind of like it gives you an Achilles heel almost. Yeah,
it holds him back
because you have a quarterback that can't throw, past 10 to 15 yards accurately. And when you have an offense that you need to spread out the field and actually beat people vertically, it was tough. And yes, he did play with Tyreek Hill. Yes, he did play with he did play with 87. Like he played with the weapons, but when you're not supremely talented athletically, then yes, like all you are going to be is a game manager for some teams. And yes, he was a scrappy quarterback, but we're not going to Hall of Fame him or anything. We're not going to give him the Julian Edelman treatment and go super delusional on him. So
yeah, I wouldn't Hall of Fame him. I don't think.
Yeah, no, he's definitely not.
But when we talked about this earlier this year, and you're like, oh, well, he's gonna retire. And I'm like, nah, I think he still has some game left in him. And he said it. He's like, hey, I still have some game left in me, but. I really believe he's one of the guys. He's like, man, I don't want to take another hit because that could possibly risk me not being able to go outside and play with my kids and run around with my kids. And I really believe that's
definitely.
He spoke to his wife and sat down with his family. He's like, what's more important? And he's understood. He's made enough money, and I think that was the ultimate decision for him because there were teams that called.
Of course,
New England Patriots were one of those teams. Houston Texans. Possibly reached out, and I know your team, the Philadelphia Eagles, they reached out as well. So,
Yeah, no thanks. Keep him on the sideline.
Hey, I can respect that decision, but I can't respect Royals catcher Salvador Perez wore a Tom Brady jersey after losing bet with Brett Phillips. Former Royals outfielder Brett Phillips was traded to the Tampa Bay Rays during the 2020 MLB season. The Kansas City Royals posted a video on Twitter with the caption, "Sometimes words speak louder than actions." Now, and then Tom Brady responded on Twitter saying, "Nah, I think actions speak louder than words." Patrick Mahomes followed by saying, "I guess we will see in 20 years." Let's see the video.
Patrick Mahomes, the best.
Yeah, and then Tom Brady is always trolling somebody on Twitter.
I love it.
He said, "Nah, I think actions always speak louder than words." But then Patrick Mahomes fired right back. I guess we'll see in 20 years.
I don't know, Pat. I don't know. I mean, Patrick.
Yeah. Patrick should stop embarrassing himself. Like,
don't do that. Don't do that.
You can't be a touchdown machine that goes touchdownless and then still in the off season, talk trash.
Yeah.
No, that's He needs like they've been telling LeBron, he needs to just shut up and play. Like, because he has nothing to brag about right now.
I mean, you can't say it to the guy you just lost to in the Super Bowl, though. Like, that's the one person you can't, especially like Tom. Tom, he gonna use that. Like, it was all good fun, but I feel like Tom is the type of person that, like, I'm gonna take that personal. I'm gonna go ahead and,
of course,
I'm gonna go ahead and use this offseason to prove why I'm the best quarterback in the league. And he wouldn't be wrong. Would he be wrong? Is he not the reigning Super Bowl champion?
There's not much you can say.
There's not much you can say. As much as we love Patrick.
And I said this before the Super Bowl, and I know you all remember, but it's like, all right, this is the make or break Patrick type long term. When you think about the questions that could possibly come, let's say 10 years down the road, and it's like, all right, let's say Patrick goes and wins 4 more Super Bowls. It could happen.
Exactly. No, it probably will.
Okay, well, it's Patrick. Then the argument starts: is Patrick the greatest quarterback of all time? And then they're going to look back at that game and say, well, he wasn't able to beat Brady in the big game,
and a couple of times.
Yeah. So it's he needed to win that game, but you can't take it away from him. He still, I still say he's the most talented quarterback in the league, even with Brady still being in there. Things happen.
I would say ever. I would say ever, as far as talent wise. But
quarterback ever. You saying that?
Yeah, to me, okay. I mean, it's him or Aaron Rodgers, and I mean, he's a little bit faster than Aaron. His arm is
a lot of bit faster than Aaron. Come on, give me
I mean, Aaron ain't slow.
He's not slow. We're not
slow.
Yeah, Steve, we're not gonna allow you to put Goodyear tires on Patrick Mahomes.
He doesn't have Goodyear. He got those racing
sticks,
man.
We see the way he limps around the field. Let's not.
That's what it hurt. So you're telling me, all right, prime Aaron Rodgers and prime Patrick Mahomes right now, if they lined up and let's just say did a 40-yard dash, that Patrick Mahomes would not win that race?
I mean,
I don't know if he would.
He might win, but Aaron Rodgers isn't slow. My point is Aaron Rodgers is not slow. Like we're not gonna act like he's like, one of those what do you call them? The old guard of quarterbacks, stand in pocket, move.
And that's Aaron Rodgers is not like Peyton or Eli Manning. Like he's not immobile like that. Like he's not. But Patrick Mahomes is definitely not running a 4.3 40 to be. No, let's stop.
He can run a 4.5, and Aaron Rodgers run a 4.8, 4.9.
Steve, let's not.
4.5 is very, very fast.
And that's how Steve's a homer, because it'd be like, hey, I bet Patrick Mahomes could beat every quarterback in an arm wrestling contest.
Look. When we're doing the show, I always take the fandom out of it, man. You have to because y'all trolling right now, man. Just move on. I ain't letting y'all get away with that.
Well, it sounds like Patrick and Steve both want all the smoke, but it's whatever. Las Vegas Raiders face backlash over "I can't breathe" tweet. Soon after the verdict was read, the Raiders tweeted the words "I can't breathe," followed by the date. The post immediately faced criticism, with many calling it insensitive. Floyd, 46, was heard saying "I can't breathe" as Chauvin kneeled on his neck on May 25th, 2020 for more than 9 minutes, ultimately killing him. We'll start off with you, Noel.
I'd like to start this one off by saying hire more Black people in your social media teams, in your organizations, because this was very insensitive. And anybody who's, a little bit intelligent, we understand what they were trying to go for. Like, we totally get that. It was just totally off base, wrong. Like, the timing was all off. The double down was even worse. It's just, you don't, when I say hire more Black people, you have to know that certain things just don't need to be said in that moment or out loud ever. Like, we get it underneath, like we have those conversations about that, but it was just totally off base. It was awful. We didn't need to use that verdict to like get a viral tweet off. Like, no, like, let's just accept the verdict and, have our small, celebration. The bigger problem still exists, but this was a small victory, and whoever is, I don't know. It was just bad. It was just really bad.
Look, I didn't really see. I understand where everyone is coming from. Let me say that first. However, there are going to be some people for the tweet and some that are against it. And I've seen a lot of people, post something similar to what the Las Vegas Raiders said. And just like the team owner, Mark Davis, who, took responsibility for the tweet, told an affiliate, I believe it's a CBS affiliate, that it was George Floyd's brother, said something similar on Tuesday. He said, today we are able to breathe again because justice for George means freedom for all. So the Raiders took it as, I can now breathe, which is the post that a lot of people who are, those social media people that have plenty of followers on social media, they all posted pretty much the same thing. So, I can't say that it was bad because they were one of the only teams, if the only team, that actually said something as a whole, who posted something, regarding this. And I commend them for that, for taking the step to do it, because I didn't see any other teams that had posted something. If there were, I didn't see it. So, I can't say that it's all bad.
Quite a few.
They did?
For one, yeah. I know the Dallas Mavericks posted.
I'm about to NFL.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's a whole other thing there. But go ahead, Q. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was muted. But no, it's just he gets to hide behind the privilege of being white, for one. And he gets to pretend to be ignorant. And Noel said it best, that diversity is needed, especially from your PR team, your social media team. Like, how many ever levels that things have to go through to be approved. It just shows the lack of diversity. And if you are a white person in a position of privilege, then diversity should be key. If you are an ally, if you aren't an ally, then the diversity won't show.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree.
And I think going off what Q said, I think it was just ignorant. And I feel like to use the statement that was used during the whole situation to find leverage from that, I think there were so many other ways that they could have gone about supporting the situation without using that statement. And I think it was almost trying to use a play on words or I don't know what they were getting at in the tweet, but I think the biggest thing was there's so many other ways that you could have gone about showing your support without making a spin on it. And it was almost, for me, it was almost like a reach for likes, a reach for this tweet to boom, like Noel said, just because you did the play on words. Yep. And I don't think it was necessarily negative that they wanted to speak on the situation. I'm, like Steve said, I'm glad that they at least said something, but there were so many other ways that you could have gone about it.
So, and it's just like they say with protesting for racial equality. They say it's not the right way. Well, there's ways to show your support, and that definitely wasn't the right way.
So would it have been better if they, since they were trying to use what George Floyd's brother had said, would it have been better if they said, all right, in quotes, exactly what he said? Okay.
Yes. It would have been better if they left the full context. And that's why you see teams put out full statements.
Or maybe a full state, like Q literally just said. A full statement. A full statement is gonna come off so much better than, just a couple of words, because those words can be interpreted any kind of way. And I just feel like a full statement.
And it still leaves the room open for interpretation, and that's exactly where the privilege comes in at, because then you're able to claim ignorance and say, oh, well, I didn't know. Well, yeah, this is if you were so in tune to the racial injustices in America that have been going on and have been magnified since 2014, then you should know exactly what to say. And he didn't know what to say. So. I'm not excusing it.
And I guess the reason that I'm kind of like it's not as bad to me is because I've seen other Black folks post the same thing. And so had it not been had it been just like a blanket of them saying, oh, I can breathe, just the Las Vegas Raiders saying that, and no one else had said it before they posted this, then I'd be like, all right, maybe that's a little out there. Maybe they shouldn't have done it. But in other celebrities that have posted it and that aren't trying to go for likes.
Yeah, and that still doesn't make it okay. Like, just because one person, he killed somebody, but other people kill, that should make it. That doesn't make it okay. Yeah,
But we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we will continue our top headlines discussion. Is Jake Paul hurting the sport of boxing? You can hear our thoughts when we come back. This is the W Show.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Dre, when he was younger, he loved to smile. And we knew he would need braces because his teeth were coming in funny. That's when he had the bunny rabbits. We called them the bunny rabbit.
Now, those are the same two front teeth there that they are now.
Then Dre ended up having to wear braces for 5 years because he never made it to appointments because he was busy playing basketball. If he missed practice, he don't get to play in the game.
This is the picture that was on the front page of the newspaper. All you can notice is the braces.
Then once he got to Michigan State, he broke the retainer.
My bottom teeth, they were really crooked, and I just wasn't getting braces again. Small Direct Club fits into my lifestyle so well. The liner is so great. It's easy to just grab it and go, and then I can change on the road. I did photo shoots with my liners in, and you can't see them.
I wish Small Direct Club would have been around when I was paying for them. I wouldn't have had to take them out of school. I wouldn't have had to miss work.
It's like a great feeling to have good teeth. A smile is a first impression. That's why I think having a great smile is so important.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag talk about it, message us, and we will talk about whatever topic you want. But we'll start off with Jake Paul winning his third fight last Saturday night as he knocked out Ben Askren in the first round. In the main event of a Triller card inside of Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Paul, a social media standout who made his name on YouTube and a variety of other platforms, defeated the former UFC fighter and Bellator and one champion in MMA with ease. Is Jake Paul hurting the sport of boxing, or is he the real deal? We'll start off with Steve.
It's about time for Jake to fight a real fighter. And I know we had a chance to talk to Jake's who was it, Sugar Ray,
His
Shane
promoter?
Mosley.
Shane Mosley, yeah.
Shane Mosley down in when we were in Miami on Radio Row, we had a chance to talk. He trained Jake, and that was our main question. It's like, all right, is he being for real? Like, he's a YouTuber. Is he being serious about it? And that's what Shane had said. He's like, hey, I told him if he's going to get into this sport, and we have to go back and get that audio from that. But he basically said like, hey, Shane Jake has gone to. We went to somewhere, I believe they said Colorado or something in the mountains, and he trained for 6 months. He didn't do anything, no cell phone, nothing. He just straight trained boxing, and he's taking it seriously. But now it's like, all right, you fought a YouTuber in Ali Eason Gibb. Now you fought a basketball player in Nate Robinson, a former basketball player, Nate Robinson, and now an MMA fighter who, I mean, everyone knows that he's not a
boxer. He's a grappler.
He's a grappler. And so for Jake to earn his respect, he's got to fight a legit boxer. And no, I'm not talking about Conor McGregor. I'm not talking about Floyd, because Floyd's not going to really take it seriously. It's going to be about the showmanship for Floyd. I want him to fight someone who's young and hungry and wants to make a name for himself. That's the person that Jake has to fight in order for him, I think, to gain respect in the sport of boxing. Now, of course, Jake is a YouTuber. He's a showman. And what is, I would say, 40% of boxing, showmanship. You have to market the fight. You have to do all this. But the other part of it is definitely skill. And does Jake have the skill? I think he has some skill. But when you watch his fights, you see him try to throw a haymaker on every punch. And I don't think he can do that. And he leaves himself wide open. And once he fights a skilled fighter, he's not going to be able to just throw a haymaker. He's going to have to be tactical and feel his boxer out. And I don't know if y'all remember when Mike Tyson first started, he would just bull rush the person that he was fighting. And once his career kind of slowed down a little bit, he would be more tactical. And of course, he still threw the haymakers, but he wouldn't try to just bull rush everybody. He filled his way through the fight.
It's the same thing with every fight. With every fighter,
Jake has to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the same thing with every person who starts out a sport. You're young, you're hungry, you're athletic. You're going attack it 100%. But the more fights you have, the more games you play or whatever sport you're playing, like you start to notice things. You start to slow down. You start to more tactical, like you say. But honestly, I don't think he's serious. I think he's just out here picking up checks. Yeah. I think he really is like, you know what? There's a lot of, I hate to say this, but there's a lot of people that, maybe aren't hip to the game, the overall big picture. I can make money by pretending that I'm a fighter and fight people who aren't fighters, and I'm still going to make millions because people are going to watch. They hate me or they love me, so they want to see me get knocked out or they want to see me knock somebody out. So they're going to pay millions for these fights that happen, and they can push this for as far as they want to. They can. I don't think there's an actual real fighter that's going to take him up on that unless the money is like where it's supposed to be. And I don't think it's
gotta be there.
I would pay me $20,000. I get in the ring with him.
20,000, Steve, for real.
I get in the ring. Why not?
Because you're not a real fighter. That's the
point. It doesn't matter. I can listen. I can train. Give me 6 months of training for boxing, and I guarantee I can fight Jake Paul.
People don't want to see that.
That's what Nate Robinson thought too.
I'm not going there trying to throw the haymakers, though. I'm not going to go.
That's my point, though. My point is he's going to continue to do that. Like he's not serious. Like he's not going to like really find a real fighter and have a card and everything and it turned into a real fight. He's not going to do that when he can just knock out people who don't really fight and just make millions doing that. I'm telling you, this is not serious. He's not hurting boxing though, because there's always offshoots. Boxing is still its same sport.
But it only takes one time for him to get caught slipping. It only takes that one time, and if he get caught slipping, then it's a wrap. So and Jake understands that, so he has to take it seriously. We saw what happened with Nate Robinson. You just said it. We saw what happened. Nate didn't take it seriously, and what happened? He got caught slipping and slept. Like, we went
and that's what we telling you. Like, don't get slept, Steve.
I would take it seriously. I wouldn't get slept. Nah.
I think Nate took it seriously. He's not good enough. He just wasn't good enough.
Jake didn't start out. He was a little
Disney Channel dude.
Running around that my son watched on YouTube. That made like jokes and all them kind of whatever parodies.
We know who both of them are. We know who both of them.
So he's not a fighter at heart. He just trained and he learned the skill. Like anybody can learn the skill, but does that mean you'll be good at it? No. But if you're any type of you have any type of athleticism, you can be fairly good at boxing. Like,
I don't know about all that.
Of course, you're gonna meet your match. Of course, you're gonna meet your match, but you're not gonna just hit up and get beat up.
We may need a boxer as a guest.
Yeah, I know the real because I follow boxing. He's not serious. Like he's not serious. He's just picking up the checks.
He's gonna take a real fight. He's gonna take a real fight, and it's gonna be on. Watch what I tell you. But
I would love to see it.
Do you think you can get into the ring with Jake Paul? If you went to learn boxing, train for 6 months, you think you could be a boxer?
I would probably lose within 30 seconds. You know how hard boxing is?
For Jake Paul.
Boxing is very, very difficult.
Wait a minute, though. Wait a minute. You just said Jake Paul isn't doing it for real. So for you,
he's not doing it for real for people trying to fight a real fighter. I'm a regular person off the street that hasn't boxed.
He was a regular person.
I'm 30 years old. You realize how young he is? Like he's not even
25.
Exactly. And it doesn't work like that. Like if you want to be a boxer, like a real boxer, they start from literally 5-6 years old.
Exactly.
And they box all the way up until
so you and Jake would be kind of right neck and neck. I mean,
not even close.
You think that he's more athletic than you?
Man, listen.
At some point, athleticism comes into play at anything that you do.
Ask Nate Robinson.
Either way, I wouldn't get knocked out.
All right.
As he sits on his show.
Me and Jake in the alley, help Jake, don't help me.
At that point, all bets are off.
Right. Good luck. Now, Vanessa Bryant and Kobe Bryant estate elect not to renew partnership with Nike. According to a source, Bryant and the state had grown frustrated with Nike limiting the availability of Kobe products during his retirement and after his January 2020 death in a helicopter crash. There was also frustration with the lack of availability for Kobe footwear in kid sizes, according to sources. Noah, we'll start with you.
I mean, selfishly, I hate to see it because, that Kobe shoes were all I wore, playing basketball. Like, that's literally all I would ever wear. But I understand, that is his wife. It's really the whole estate is hers at this point. As you hate to say that because he is gone, but the whole estate is hers, and she feels like his wishes aren't being respected, then it's totally up to her to say, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and, cut it short. I haven't been able to find too many details on obviously there are two main reasons, but for real, why it didn't, go the way it was supposed to. But it's kind of sad to see, honestly, because we all know Kobe was with Adidas first. He had the issue in Colorado, and he was a sneaker free agent for a while, but Kobe and, Mamba mentality and Nike, it's almost all synonymous, honestly. Like, you can't really say one without the other. Like, it's been that way since, I want to say, what was that, 2007? 2007. So they had a partnership for a long time. It's almost like, can you imagine, like, LeBron James and anything other than Nike? Can you imagine, all these other guys that had these, sneakers deals for so long? You can't imagine them being with other people, but that is kind of the way things go. If your partnership isn't working for you, it's totally up to you to cut it off.
I think it's more about money, though, at the end of the day.
Always is.
Whether she wants to say it or not, it's more about the bag. Now, of course, like Jazz said this. The sources of, they presented her with an extension offer, and she either says yes or says no. Now, of course, she did tease. If you want to cut ties with the company, you're going to cut ties with the company. You're not going to tease that there are two more pairs of Nikes being released. which is what she did. She teased on Instagram, mama mentality, 2 more drops coming. So what does that tell you? She still wants the sneakers to come out. However, in Nike's defense, though, it's supply and demand. Everyone always criticizes, Nike for not making enough shoes, et cetera, et cetera. But it's how it's been. It's how the game has been played. And I think for the sneaker culture, that's how it should be, honestly, because I don't want Nike to make 50 million of Jordans or 50 million of a certain sneaker, because at that point, then what's the value of it? It devalues it at the end of the day. And it's kind of like,
it's what I value it at, though. I think when it comes to that,
what you value it at, but at the end of the day, it's not worth if you keep a pair of let's just say a pair of some sneakers that are very rare, they won't be rare at that point because everybody has them, and they won't have the same value. Me at least, it just won't. So
I mean, that's how the sneaker game started, though. I mean, that's literally how it started, and I get it. But for me, like, sneakers mean like a little bit more than that. Like, if it's something that I really want, it's something that I just have. And if somebody else happens to have it, I mean, like, they just have it. Like, it's cool. But the sneaker is what I want it to be. Like, and I mean, I was in the game, man. I was there. I was out there waiting to, get those Space Jam 11s, get like 4 or 5 pairs, and I, flip them. Like, I was in the game. I did that. But then
since you said that, you're in this exclusive type club. The community.
I mean, I get it.
It's an exclusive community. Once everybody's a part of the sneaker community, then what is there?
I mean, it's cool. It's cool. I think it's just cool. Like, if you want, especially we're talking about Kobe's, though. We're not talking about a collab. We're not talking about something that we're talking about like an actual basketball shoe. Like, we're not talking about something that's just, wear on prove to, hey man, I got these. Like, these are basketball shoes. Like, these shouldn't be outfitting teams. Like, these are for like, they're used,
like that, man. They'll work because when LeBron came out with the South Beats LeBrons, did they make 50 million pair of those? So teams,
they made quite a few of those. They made quite a few. So
when they came out with the LeBron corks, remember the cork LeBron?
The 10s,
they didn't make those. And I know every week we talk about Ann's son. Q, he talks about Ann's son.
and Herbert's son.
Yeah, but I can't knock his hustle. I mean, he played the card.
I won't either.
And I can't say I wouldn't have done the same thing.
I already tried to do the same thing. So
exactly. I mean, so it goes the same as if you want to look at it as like entertainment, right? A concert, for that matter. You say the Sprint Center sells out in seconds, and people get upset because I couldn't get tickets, but there's 40 scalpers on the outside with tickets going for $1,000 a pop for a concert. It's the exact same thing, supply and demand.
I'm mad at that too, and I don't even like concerts.
But those scalpers don't work for the tour. That's the problem.
You do get some that do work, that get those extra tickets, and they're out there flinging them too, or they give them, or they sell them to the scalpers for the scalpers to make money. So I mean, there's still those. It's not many, but there's few.
Ann and her son Joe are still a cheater. The Herbert family are cheaters.
I mean, we don't like them. No.
Yeah.
But we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we will have our Hate It or Love It segment and kick it off with our sneakers of the week. This is the W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Drake, when he was younger, he loved to smile. And we knew he would need braces because his teeth were coming in funny. That's when he had the bunny rabbits. We called them the bunny rabbit.
Now, those are the same 2 front teeth there that they are now.
Then Drake ended up having to wear braces for 5 years because he never made it to appointments because he was busy playing basketball. If he missed practice, he don't get to play in the game.
This is the picture that was on the front page of the newspaper. All you can notice is the braces.
Then once he got to Michigan State, he broke the retainer.
My bottom teeth, they were really crooked, and I just wasn't getting braces again. Small direct club fits into my lifestyle so well. The liner is so great. It's easy to just grab it and go, and then I can change on the road. I did photo shoots with my liners in, and you can't see them.
I wish Smile Direct Club would have been around when I was paying for them. I wouldn't have had to take them out of school. I wouldn't have had to miss work.
It's like a great feeling to have good teeth. A smile is a first impression. That's why I think having a great smile is so important.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
It's that time for Love It or Hate It.
Hate it.
If we love it, we talk about it. If we hate it, we move on.
I think Jazz's mic is muted. Uh-oh. For our sneakers of the week, this week, we're going to have the LeBron James Nike Air Max 95 collab, the home team.
Interesting. I ain't gonna lie, those kind of decent.
Yeah, they all right.
I like those too.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. 95 is always good.
Yeah. Then you have the Eric Emanuel Adidas Forum 84 High McDonald All-American collab.
Decent. I ain't gonna lie to you, those are decent too.
Yeah, Eric Emanuel, and I know Jazz loves these shoes. He did the collab, with Adidas and McDonald All-Americans. He wanted to pay homage to those. If you guys don't know, Eric Emanuel is a fashion designer. He also came out with these shorts. His company, ericemanuel.com, he's known for creating these off-the-wall shorts. So if you're into basketball shorts or, just shorts in general, go check out ericemanuel.com.
Yeah, those were definitely my favorite for this week.
And then you have the Nike SB Dunk High Hawaiis. Now I've seen some of the colorways. These change colors, I believe.
Really?
Floral changes to like an orange, and you just have to go check out the pictures of them. But they're pretty dope.
I like these.
And then I think my favorite for this week are the Nike Air Griffey Max 1, paying homage to Jackie Robinson.
I feel like it took too long for these to kind of happen, honestly, because that's amazing right there.
Yeah,
I like those.
Great shoe.
And another athlete leaves Nike. Simone Biles leaves Nike to partner with Athleta, says they stand for everything I stand for. Hate it or love it.
Love it. Love it.
Take ownership of that.
Yeah, it's crazy though. When she said they stand for everything that she stands for. However, Gap is the owner of Athleta, right? And of course, Gap has had their they've been criticized for their advertising campaigns and for children and also young girls and women as well. So I mean, it's kind of like pick your battles. So,
no, it's exactly. It's lesser, whatever the lesser two evils to you is, you pick that one, and that's kind of where we at in society.
To me, it's like who's going to pay the most money at the end of the day? Because if Nike was going to drop a bag on her, she would have stayed with Nike. Let's just be plain.
Yeah.
Can't argue with you there. Can't.
Facts. Now, Alabama unveils 2020 national championship rings. Hate it or love it?
Love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Those are tough.
Yeah, hopefully some of the players can pawn those for a lot of money.
Yeah,
because the university ain't giving it up.
The crazy thing about when college athletes get rings is they're only worth $400. They can't be worth more than $415.
Really?
Yeah. All those
level of control.
Those aren't real diamonds and those aren't real rubies, sapphires, none of that. Because of course, college athletes, they can only make a certain amount per year. And so, yeah.
Trash. Level of control is trash.
That ring is worth $325 whopping dollars.
Now the NFL adopts Kansas City Chiefs' proposal to expand player jersey numbers. Hate it or love it?
I love it.
Make it fun. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. People make a big deal out of it, but I want to see Tyrann Mathieu go to that number 7. I think he's
Honey Badger
21 as well. So we'll see.
Love to see it.
And it's fun. Before you move on, funny thing, Patrick Mahomes tweeted, should he go to number 5? And
he already can.
And the thing about it is there was someone who responded to him and said, no, you too big, man. You can't go to 5. That's why the 15 works so well.
And Chris Paul passes Magic Johnson for 5th place on NBA's all-time assist list. Hate it or love it.
Love to see it. Love Chris Paul.
One of my favorite PGs ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Eagles head coach says he played rock, paper, scissors and trash talked with draft prospects to gauge their competitiveness. Hate it or love it.
Trash. when you that's how you know you're gonna be a terrible head coach.
What?
Like,
let's hear from the head coach.
And I'll tell you, I think some of you guys are wondering, like, what game we didn't go earth shattering on these games, right? I played a couple of them at rock, paper, scissors, right? That was as easy as that. Rock, paper, scissors. Let's see how competitive you are. I'm competitive. I'm going to be talking trash to him. Did you talk trash back to me? Right? Jeopardy. There's different ways to do it. It looks a lot of different ways, but our coaches got so creative with this. Like Jeff Stoutland, Brian Johnson, like they did just such. Aaron Moorhead. They all did a great job, right? Tracy Rocker, Jeremiah Washburn. They all did a great job of just figuring out how to compete. Because everyone's compete looks a little different. Like if I get up there, I play them rock, paper, scissors. They got a little more creative than I did at times. So it was awesome, though, because it did anything you compete at. When you compete with somebody that's competitive, they're going to go at you no matter what, no matter.
You agree with that, Q? That's your team. That's your coach. Now let me get this straight. He's coaching professional athletes, and he needs to gauge how competitive they are. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to this 2-win season.
That was interesting. That was
that's how you know you're going to have a bad football team.
Yeah, it's definitely ugly.
Please get a black coach in there. Somebody that has some sense.
Now, Kevin Durant listed his top 5 teammates and almost forgot about Russell Westbrook. Hate it or love it.
Hated it.
It's his opinion. Love it.
Most definitely hated it.
Why does he always I feel like he just creates drama. He just Q, that tweet, deep down, like think of the messiest person you know. And then you're like, dang, it's a man, isn't it? I feel like that's him.
Let's hear from KD.
Yeah. Top 5 players you ever played with?
Kyrie. James.
Cool.
James.
Mm-hmm.
Harden. Steph. Clay. Yeah. And I'm gonna go Serge Ibaka.
I thought somebody else was going to go into that from LA, but that's
all right. So
I forgot somebody.
Yeah, to me, I thought you was going to say. I ain't even going.
Who?
South Central LA, Russell.
Oh, yeah, I am tripping. Russ, yeah, I'm tripping.
Yeah, I'm just making sure. You know what I mean? Because it's a game like mine.
I did forget about Russ. Russ would definitely be top 5.
Okay. So we take Serge Ibaka out of there.
Definitely.
Oh, because I was about to say Kev.
Yeah, I was tripping.
I was about to say, Kev, if it's some underlying beef, we won't go call Russell up right now.
You should have called. I'm glad you called me out on that.
Yeah, that's why, you know what I mean? Listen, we living in the world where those social media things.
I would put. As a matter of fact, I would put Russ after 4th and put Clay 5th.
Yeah, come on, KD. You know there's smoke there. Come on, KD.
That was very messy of him.
I mean, on KD.
I mean, we just shot the Raiders owner all of this bail for what he may not have known, and I mean, maybe KD was high. He was off. He may have been smoking a little bit.
Q.
Dummy.
Nah.
Now, A-Rod's $1.5 billion Minnesota Timberwolves purchase includes the WNBA's links. Hate it or love it.
I love that. Love it. We'll see what you can do with that with the women's team.
Yeah, love to see it.
Hopefully put money towards it.
Facts. And covered in first season of Deion Sanders at Jackson State University. Hate it or love it.
Hated it.
Yeah, hate it.
So what exactly happened? Like they just had an outbreak?
Yeah, they had the quarantine.
Tough.
Man. And Heat's growing concerned about Tyler Hero's celebrity lifestyle. Hate it or love it.
Man, he fine. Man, watch out, man. I ain't trying to hear it. He a second-year player. He just
real quick before we move on. Real quick, the only thing about this, and people want to compare Tyler Hero to when LeBron and D Wade and all them, D Wade, Mr. Miami or whatever, Wade County or whatever. The difference, they were winning. They were hoopers. Tyler is not hooping right now. Like he's playing.
Did you see what he did in the bubble last year? Like, did you not see?
You're only as good as your last game.
I mean, do we really want to say that? Do we really? We haven't even approached the playoffs yet. Tyler will be fine.
And a bettor made $15K off of a $15 wager, and Kyle Kuzma parlay. Hate it or love it.
Oh, love this. I love this. 15,000 off of $15. Come on.
Wow.
Yeah. Love it.
Nice.
Love this. And the thing about it is with that parlay, basically it was you're betting, you're putting a string of things that can happen together. Contavious Caldwell-Pope to score 20 or more points. Contavious Caldwell-Pope to make 3 or more 3-pointers, and then Kyle Kuzma to have 5.5 assists. That was a pretty easy one. Most of the time when you get those parlays like that, you got to have like 10 of them to make that. So it is what it is. But it's another great show today, y'all. We appreciate everyone who tuned in. And remember, you can catch a rewind of our show on Mondays on 100.1 FM, 1 Kansas City Radio, anytime on social media. We also have a podcast of our show, Sideline Sports Talk Network. Download it wherever you get your podcast. And next week, we'll be live on location from Cliché's Urban Hit Fit Fitness Training Center out in Lee Summit. I can't wait to have the band back together for shows. Until next week, we are out of here.
Peace.
Views and opinions expressed at the W Radio Show by the host, co-host, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not represent the opinions of the W Show, 100.1 FM, 1 Kansas City Radio, Sideline Sports Talk, Team Wall Street Foundation, or affiliates.